Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening everyone. So today is Sunday the 31st of January 2021, and here this is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. And thank you everyone for joining me here tonight again. Hello Yvonne, hello Margaret, hello Lades, good evening. And good evening everyone, whoever, wherever you are. I hope you're all keeping well. Normally, weekends are a very busy day, and today also it's another busy day at the center, and particularly me. It's been 2 weeks. Every Sundays I've been booking doubled for some events. Like last week was I booked so many that I even forgot our own meetings, and which again happened today. I forgot that I have been teaching every last Sunday of the month at 4 o'clock in America for the Nepalese community, and somehow I forgot that we also have another meeting at the center regarding the teachings to the children. So I feel very sorry for all the volunteers who have been investing their valuable time for the center and organizing, and so. And meanwhile, I become kind of forgetting. Today, after the 1 hour session, after the lunch, we had this. I was joining with the mass worldwide chanting, a blessing chanting ceremony through online, and then followed by attending one meditation group. So anyway, all day again busy. Yeah. And I was teaching another 1.5 hours in America, and after having rest for half an hour, I'm here again to give you reflections for the day. So I hope that you all will get something out of it, what I have been saying, and I hope that all the time that I've been talking and giving talks in different topics, it helps you to gain more knowledge and help you to clear some misunderstandings, and which is again obvious. It will, because even the Buddha said that when we hear the teachings, it helps us to gain more knowledge. And the information that we never heard before, we will be hearing it. And then if we have heard it before, it makes more clearer. And if there is any doubts on it, the doubts will be cleared. So this is the reason why we have to listen again and again. And the teachings I normally giving you through this the scripture, I hope that it is helping you. Clearing the doubts and giving you more knowledge about what the meditation is, particularly the Satipatthana. And so far this is the 6th discourses which is explaining why the full establishment of a mindfulness is important in our day-to-day life. And similarly today, again, I am going to read the seventh discourse, which will help us to understand that why the four foundations of a mindfulness is important in our day-to-day life, in order to free ourselves from the bondage, from this mental state of covetousness and displeasure in our minds and heart. The story, the discourse starts with this: Bhikkhus, in the Himalayas, the king of the mountains, there are rags and uneven zones where neither monkeys nor human beings can go. So here, Himalayas, the Buddha is simply saying that is the king of the mountains, and which I can relate to it, because a few years ago, I think toward 2017 or 18, I was walking walking to the Everest base camp, and then it was so difficult, so hard, and the more you walk, it appears that you are a very tiny creature, and the giant mountains and this full of ice and so big, and when you walk up to it, it is so difficult. I remember there was one mountain we were climbing, and it was 5,000, around 500 meters up from the sea level, and I could feel the pressure in my head, and I was feeling of a sickness, and I immediately needed to descend from that mountain in order to feel great, and I feel better. So that's why Himalayas are basically is the king of a mountain, which Buddha also notes. And he is saying that there are some places that even they're uneven and very difficult to go, where monkeys and humans can't be there. And there are again, rugged and uneven zones where monkeys can go, but humans can't. So obviously there are places where monkeys can go, humans can't. And then there are even and delightful reasons where both monkeys and human beings can go. And this is obviously, we can see monkeys are living together with the humans in so many places. Like in Thailand, it's called Lopburi, where you will find plenty of monkeys around in the temples, and sometimes they have a fight. There was a big news about 2 years ago. Two groups of monkeys from two cities traveled on a train and had a big fight, which is very unusual. So it's like a big colony of monkeys traveling from one city and then to another city and had a great war. So that happened. And similarly in Nepal, there is a monkey temple. There's plenty of monkeys. And I remember when I was young, whenever the monkeys visits our village, we will scream and try to chase him out from the village, but sometimes it's very difficult. So monkeys, and then there are plenty of stories. Monkeys are stealing bags of visitors, like that. So this is again a place where there are places where monkeys and people are living together. And because of monkeys are traveling in the human's habitat and destroying the things, humans normally put the trails, and hunters will set out the traps and hoping to catch the monkeys, naughty monkeys. And so here Buddha says that there alone the monkey's trail, hunters set out traps of pitch for catching monkeys. Those monkeys who are not foolish and fabulous, when they see the pitch, avoid it from far away, from afar. Yeah? So basically there will be monkeys, those who are clever and not cunning, so they basically will avoid those traps. But a monkey who is foolish and frivolous approaches the pitch and seized it with his hand. And sometimes, obviously, we know that monkeys can be very tricky and they are very cunning. And some foolish monkeys, they just come and grab things. And in relation to this grabbing, I have heard a very beautiful story a long time ago. The story is about a monkey trapped by simply holding the things, and that's like a hunter, or they will just make a small hole and then put the food inside. So the moment when monkey grabs food, monkey's hands become a fist, and then this hold holds this monkey and cannot move. And what has happened is that, the story is it that monkey always not able to release what is holding, so that the moment when this monkey releases what he was holding, or it was holding, he will be free. But what happens is that because of the desire and because of this lust, this monkey will always hold to that object and not able to release. And as a result of that, he is trapped, and the hunter can catch this monkey easily. And this simile is quite good in terms of our day-to-day life, or even this modern life. Normally, we like to hold on to the things that is hurting us, and we hold it so hard, so tight, that this fist, we think that there is no way we can release, and which unable to release that object or that emotions or feelings that is causing us trouble, we become more suffer and we become unhappy. And yet sometimes we do know that this is making us unhappy, and yet we cannot release. We cannot release that the emotion or the events or the feelings that is causing us so much trauma, so much fear, so much angry, so much sadness. So emotionally we become so traumatized, and yet we cannot release. Similar to the monkey, that monkey knows that the moment when this monkey releases the food, he can remove its hand from that trap. But the monkey, the nature is such that once it holds it, it's holding it for good, and which is the clever way of catching monkeys. So that's why in our life, what we need to do, that once we know that this is making us a trouble, we need to release it. The moment when we release, so we are free, and we can put some more new things in it. So whoever is suffering from all these emotional traumas or feelings, remember, just need to release it, and then you will be free. So monkeys and the trap is here and similar to this, but in this discourse will be slightly different. So, and it says that this foolish monkey goes to the trap, and then it's one hand stuck. Yeah? So he gets caught there. Now, thinking that I will free my hand, this monkey will use another hand. Yeah? So he seizes it with his other hand, and he caught up there. So another hand also caught in that pitch, the trap. And then after that, the monkey thinks that it will release by pushing, using the leg. And again, both legs also stuck in that trap. And then once the two legs, two hands are trapped, they're stuck or caught by the trap, this monkey thinks that he will use his head or his mouth, as this comes like this, to release him. And then what happens is that, again, his mouth also stuck in that trap. Okay? So thus, because that monkey trapped at 5 points lies there screeching. Okay? So he has met with the calamities and disaster, and the hunter can do with him as he wishes. So that's why once the monkey is trapped in these 5 points, it hasn't got any ways that he can run away, and that's how the hunter will caught him. The hunter spears him, fashioned him to that same block of wood, and goes off where he wants. Yeah? To that same block. And so it is, because when one strays outside one's resort into the domains of others. So here basically Buddha is saying that these are these places that one shouldn't be involving. And these monkeys shouldn't be straying out where there is a traps, or they're not our own resorts or domains. The moment when the monkey went into that trap or the pitch, which is not the safe place, then the monkey been caught. So therefore, because do not stray outside your own resort into the domain of others, Mara will gain access to those who stray out their own resort into the domains of others. Mara will get a hold on them. So, and what is not a bhikkhu's own resort, but the domains of others? It is the 5 course of essential pleasure, and which is again, sorry, and these 5 course of essential pleasure that I mentioned yesterday, relating to last night's story of the hawk. The quail also was thinking that if the quail could have stayed in its own domain, the hawk would not catch it. So the essential pleasure is basically known as the other's domain, and that is a form or the object that we see, the sound that we hear, the taste that we take, or odor that we smell, and then the tactiles that we come to contact. So the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and a body is our domain, and then the moment when it comes to contact with the objects like the form, sound, taste, odor, and the tactiles, then basically if we are not mindful, what happens is that we are carried by those and we want to it. Suppose even like a window shopping, sometimes in the sunny days or wonderful time, you simply want to go for a window shopping. And somehow as you walk through the shops after the shops, just thinking of relaxing, just entertaining yourself, but somehow your eye caught up with one nice object. You see that object, then you will make every possible reasons why you should have it. You will make every possible reasons that you should have it. And you even to think about how much you got in your pocket, how much you got in your bank, and how should you get it. So it goes on. And that's simply because you have given permission to your own eyes to take control. And so this object has taken control over you. Similarly, the sound as well. The moment when we hear a nice, beautiful song, it just carried ourselves away with that song, and we even forgot what we are doing or what we are supposed to be doing. Yeah? And then again, this is the positive way. If that's a negative way, then what happens is that the moment when we see things that is not pleasant, or someone who you dislike, suppose you're walking on the street and you met with someone you dislike, or someone you had a problem in the past, that moment, what happens? Your eye comes to contact with that person, and immediately you generate the hate, the anger, this just boils up. At the very moment when it boils up in your minds, what happens? You have given permission to that form or that object to take control over your emotions, over your life. So that simply you have gone to the other's domain. Similar to the sound. If you have heard someone's voice which you didn't like it or you do not want to hear, then what happens? It just triggers your anger, it just triggers your hate. And then that triggering hate or anger, that's simply because you have given permission to that sound, that noise, that voice. And that is simply because of not being mindful. If one could have been mindful, what happens? Those will not affect your livings. Those will not condition you to be happy or unhappy. As I normally quote it, and again I tell that no one can make us angry without our permission. No one can make us unhappy without our permission. So happiness and unhappiness, that is purely depends on how we react to the things. And here Buddha is saying that the moment when we give permission, or basically we gone into that domain, other's domain, which is the form, sound, the taste, the odor, the tactiles, basically what happens is that it brings the trouble to us, and that's here is known as the Mara. Mara will take hold on you, so we basically will be in trouble. So we won't be happy. So that's why always remember that no one can make you hungry. No one can make you unhappy. It's you that you are making yourself angry. It's you that you are making yourself unhappy. That's simply because you have given permission to that object or that person who is doing something or who is saying something. But if you have treated them as just another person, or the stories that you hear, you do not pay attention to it, then it won't affect to you. It won't affect to make you happy or unhappy. So it's up to us how we condition ourselves to the things that comes to contact with us. The moment with this, what happens is the happiness and unhappiness is entirely based on our reactions. So it's our choice. And this is what the Buddha was saying. And that is the essential pleasures. Move on your own resort. In your own ancestral domain, Mara will not gain access to those who move to their own resort. In their own ancestral domain, Mara will not get hold on you. Yeah? So that's basically, and this is further saying that, and what is the resort? His own ancestral domain. Yeah? And it is the for establishment of a mindfulness. What for? Here bhikkhus, a bhikkhu dwells contemplating the body and the body, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regards to the world. He dwells contemplating feeling in the feeling, mind in the mind, phenomena in the phenomena, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regards to the world. This is bhikkhu's resort, his own ancestral domain. So here basically is that we normally engage with the worldly matter or worldlings through our eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and our body. Or basically we come to contact with the world. We understand the world through these 5 senses. And then we like to entertain, and we always want to have something better and always good. And always there is a desire and a lustful wantings whenever things which is pleasure. And meanwhile, whenever something is displeasure or not nice, we always generate this hate and anger. And the moment when we are unmindful, we simply carried away by those feelings and emotions, and we are trapped like a monkey who was trapped in those strays, so in those traps. So we are also trapped in our own emotions, our own feelings. All what we need to know is to realize that I am trapped in these feelings, these emotions, which I have created by myself. It's a self-created prison for ourselves. And once we have understood that, what will happen is that we will be contemplating our own body. So moment when you have trapped yourself in these emotions, the chemical in our physical body start to change. This is some form of a chemical change takes place in our body. The breath becomes abnormal, and then somebody feel even sick. Somebody will feel the shakiness and the heat, and those form of different activities takes place. You will be able to notice that. And that noticing of those sensations and feelings is basically you will be able to contemplate on the feelings and emotions and how you are reacting or reconnecting to these feelings, and you will be able to understand the mental state of it. And that's how you will be able to understand that these feelings are making me unhappy, or these situations are making me unhappy, making me troubled and sad and emotional and bored and such. And that is the phenomena, the natural, the truth. Once we understood that, what happens is we will be able to free ourselves from desire of a covet or covetousness and displeasure, or the thought of a hate or anger. We will be free ourselves. So we are freeing ourselves from those rather than thinking of letting other people be free from those. Basically, we are channeling our contemplation, channeling ourselves into our own body, into our own feelings, into our own mind states, and understanding that these are how it works. And all what is happening is simply because we are not contemplating our own body, feeling, and the mind, but we are contemplating on more outside of our own senses. That is the form, sound, odor, taste, and the tactiles. The very moment when we become mindful, we will be able to free ourselves. So that is the reason why we shouldn't be straying out from the four foundations of mindfulness, but practicing mindfulness every day. So thank you very much. I end here for tonight, and may you all be well and happy. In a few moments' time, we're going to have evening chanting. You're most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night, and may you all be well and happy. May the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you. Sadhu. See you shortly. Sadhu.